So, are you thinking about going carnivore? Or maybe you've already jumped in and hit a few bumps in the road? Well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to distill 5 whole years of experience down into 5 super important lessons that can make your journey a whole lot smoother and way more successful. Let's get right into it. Now, this whole explainer is built on the hard-won wisdom from someone who used this diet to achieve some pretty profound healing. This quote, it really sets the stage. We're about to explore the kind of potential that goes way beyond just losing a few pounds. We're talking about deep, real health improvements. All right, here's our game plan. We're going to cover 5 key lessons. First, why you absolutely need to ditch the scale. Second, how to become a master of meal prep. Third, navigating that tricky transition phase. Fourth, sniffing out those hidden intolerances. And finally, the incredible power of finding your tribe. First up, lesson 1. And this one kind of goes against everything we've ever been taught about dieting. You've got to ditch the scale. We're about to dive into why staring at those numbers can actually be your biggest enemy and what you should be paying attention to instead. So let's get into the why behind this, because it's huge. This quote from Dr. Ken Berry, it's everything. You have to understand your body's smart. It has a priority list, and it's going to work on repairing the really important stuff, like calming down inflammation or healing your gut, long before it even thinks about burning stored fat. That right there is a major mindset shift. And what does this actually look like in the real world? It looks like patience. A whole lot of it. It is not uncommon at all for the scale to not budge, or hey, even go up a little for at least 3 months. Sometimes it's even more than 6. But listen, this is not a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that your body is busy doing really important, invisible repair work on the inside. And this just lays it out perfectly. The scale, it gives you one single number. And honestly, it's often misleading. But body recomposition, that tells the real story. You're seeing a deep metabolic shift. We're not just talking about losing a bit of fat and gaining some muscle. Your body is building stronger, more active tissue and even increasing bone density. That is true health, and the scale will never, ever show you that. So here's the big takeaway. Here's what you do. Swap that scale for your phone's camera and a simple tailor's tape. Just take some photos and measurements every 3 to 4 weeks. I promise you that visual proof will show you the real changes that are happening, and it'll keep you fired up when the numbers on the scale decide not to cooperate. Okay, let's roll into lesson 2, mastering meal prep. Look, switching to a whole new way of eating is tough enough. You don't need the extra stress of figuring out what to eat for every single meal, every single day. Preparation is your secret weapon for making this stick. And here is a super simple 4-step system to make it easy. First, keep your recipes simple. Think 1-pan meals in the oven or just throw stuff in the air fryer. Easy cleanup. Second, plan out your week. Use a calendar, whatever works, so you're never scrambling. Third, stock up on your go-to meats and cook in big batches. Saves you time, money, and a ton of headache. And last, if you can, get some tools that make your life easier, like an air fryer or an Instant Pot. Total game changers. Now for lesson 3. This is a topic that doesn't get nearly enough attention, but it is so critical. We're talking about the transition phase. And more specifically, we need to talk about something called oxalate dumping and how you can manage it without wanting to quit. So, what in the world is oxalate dumping? Well, if you've been eating a diet with lots of plants, spinach, almonds, beans, your body has been storing these tiny, sharp little things called oxalate crystals in your tissues. When you suddenly take those foods away, your body finally gets the signal to start cleaning house and pushing them out. And that process, well, it can feel pretty intense. The symptoms can be really jarring, I'm not gonna lie. We're talking things like skin rashes, feeling bone-tired, cloudy urine. Some people even find their autoimmune issues get a little worse for a short time. But just knowing that this can happen is half the battle. It turns that fear into, oh, okay, I know what this is. So what's the best way to avoid a really rough reaction? It's simple. Don't go cold turkey. Instead, ease into it with a gradual schedule. Now, this is just an example, but you could cut out vegetables in week 1, then wait a couple weeks and cut out fruits, and so on. This just gives your body time to adjust, and it's so much more manageable. And here are 3 simple tools to help get you through it. A little bit of black tea or lemon juice can act like a gentle buffer, giving your body just a tiny amount of oxalates to make the process smoother. And dairy is great because the calcium can actually bind to oxalates right in your gut, which helps stop your body from absorbing them. Okay, on to lesson number 4. So you've ditched the plants, you're eating meat, but you're still having some weird reactions. What gives? Well, it might just be a hidden intolerance, and we need to talk about histamines. What's really surprising here is that these high histamine foods are super common, even on carnivore. We're talking about egg whites, aged beef, processed meats, even some seafood. See, what happens is, as your gut is healing, the little enzymes that are supposed to break down histamine might not be working at 100% yet. And that little mismatch can cause temporary stuff like a runny nose or itchy skin. But here is the really good news. This is almost always just a phase. It's temporary. As your gut continues to heal and your body adapts, this intolerance usually gets way better. The key, for now, is to focus on fresh, unaged meats. That gives your system a little break and the time it needs to catch up. And that brings us to our 5th and final lesson. And you know what? This might just be the most important one of them all. It has nothing to do with food and everything to do with people. You have got to find your tribe. This quote from Dr. Joan Iflin just nails it. Our environment, the people we're around, they shape what we believe is possible. And our beliefs, they drive our actions. If you're surrounded by people who just expect to get sick and feel bad as they get older, it is incredibly hard to chase after health and feel amazing. And you can really see the difference here. An unsupportive environment, it keeps bad habits around and can make you feel totally alone. But a supportive community, they expect you to be vibrant and healthy. They model good habits, they hold you accountable, and they're there to celebrate your wins and pick you up when you're having a tough time. So the bottom line is this. Your success isn't just about what's on your plate. It's about who's sitting at the table with you. Making a huge lifestyle change is hard. Trying to do it all by yourself is next to impossible. So let's do a super quick recap of the 5 big lessons. 1. Track with photos, not the scale. 2. Plan and prep your meals to stay consistent. 3. Transition off plants slowly to manage oxalates. 4. Pay attention to your body and test for any histamine issues. And number 5, the big one, surround yourself with support. And that brings us to one final thought. We've talked a ton about food, obviously, but this journey really shows us it's about so much more than that. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Beyond what you eat, what do you think is the single most critical, non-negotiable ingredient for your own health journey?